Hello everyone, today we're looking at Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. This game is really interesting. This finally came out on the 3DS era, and again it looks very similar to the previous game, Risky's Revenge, but now there's a lot of quality of life improvements, and now Shantae is becoming really a big powerhouse IP that is associated with Nintendo. A big change now is that when you hit enemies, it actually displays the damage counter that you're doing to them, as well as other things. And also Shantae and the style and artwork of her character also is evolving a lot and giving it a more distinct vibe and feeling. What's different about this game is that unlike previous games where you just kind of go through the overworld and go through dungeons, now the big twist is that Risky Boots is actually in trouble. And so instead of being the villain, she now actually... Essentially, there's the pirate god, which has cursed her and is basically coming to take her soul, more or less. And so what has occurred is that you basically have to help Risky Boots recover some of her items and basically fight, the kind of pirate god instead of Risky Boots herself, and she kind of becomes a side companion. So some of the main powers you get in this game, you don't actually get to transform into other animals or creatures, but instead you get different powers that Risky Boots would have. So things like you get an additional boost in the air from Risky Boots cannon, which you can only fire downwards. You get Risky Boots sword, which allows you to dash forwards and do a bunch of damage, similar to like the Metroid Prime. You also have Risky Boots hat that allows you to float through the air. And finally, you have Risky Boots pistol, which allows you to shoot pistols or rounds back and forth. Also, around this time, Shantae also develops a very distinct anime aesthetic, and so there's a lot of very weird, funny little, characters and situations that are kind of zany and quirky. And again, there's a lot of scenes where, Shantae and, the other characters, the other female characters are not afraid of any fan service or anything like that. And again, these designs are really good. They have a lot of life and animation to them. Matt Bozon and the Way Forward team has always had a vision for Shantae to be very kind of an animated, character and have a lot of basically, soul and personality that has always tried to make its way through the animations. There's also definitely some more quirky characters like the giant squid in this game and the ammo baron. But yeah, more or less, this game is the same as the previous ones, where you just have to collect a certain amount of items and dungeons, beat the boss in that dungeon, get the special thing that powers you up in that dungeon, and continue through the game until you do that. And also the way you access most of the overworld is through Risky's boat, and so you actually sail to each island with her. There are definitely a few more funny situations that the characters find themselves in. This time there's one section where they all get kidnapped and you have to rescue all the female characters. There's another time where you have to again ally with the Tinkerbats and kind of help out Risky in her quest, essentially. And of course your sub-weapons return mostly the same in this game, with some new additions and more explosive abilities. Another side quest that goes throughout the game is that the magic lamp from the very first game, you're able to use it and to absorb the dark energy, and so the possessed Tinkerbats that are filled with the dark energy kind of act as these VIP targets that you find throughout the world, and once you defeat them, they display their kind of dark energy, which you can then capture inside your magic lamp. But yeah, there's not much else to say about this game. It's very similar to the previous Shantaes, except that the story about whether or not she has magic powers or not, and what her real identity is kind of thrown into flux. And so she kind of has to find her own identity, magic powers or not. And so, she kind of compensates for her lack of magic by using Risky's, materials in this game. but she kind of, accepts her fate as a half genie hero. And of course, that's where the next game comes in, which I think is a remake of the original. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about this Shantae game. And, I really don't know how to feel about the series going forward, because, once you play the 3 main titles in the series, you kind of think, okay, that's it. And then there's been 2 more Shantae games that just make me think, well, I don't see a huge difference between them. I mean, it's great that they're making them, but I just don't see a lot of innovation past this game in the gameplay. I see a lot of really cool, art designs and, redesigns of, some of the characters and stuff. But in terms of gameplay innovations, I don't see a big difference between each game, and I don't really super enjoy, these games. They're not exactly masterpieces. They're fun little distractions. So it really is hard for me to justify going into the other ones. I might go into them, past this one eventually, since I'm reviewing this right now. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Bye-bye.